This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that fire. Woo! The Charlo brothers, dog, and Errol the True Spence, man. They gonna be doing this Texas, you know what I'm saying, triple header, dog. Let me say it again. They're gonna be doing this Texas triple header. There's sources out there, you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna keep them anonymous at the moment, but cats been hollering at Hino's Sport and telling me, dog, in 2020, the Charlo brothers and Errol the True Spence gonna have a triple header. Woo! Dallas, y'all need to stand up, dog. H-Town, y'all need to stand up. I know the Texas folks, man, already, dog. This thing gonna be serious, man. Y'all know it's Florida and Texas folks, man. Us down south folks, man, we stick together, dog. Let me say it again, we stick together, man. So hear me and hear me well. To sit here and say that Jermell Charlo and Derrick James is mediocre. Again, pandering narratives. They do this. Once they hit a ceiling cap, boo, they got to come tumbling down. Let me say it again. Once they hit a ceiling cap, boo, they got to come tumbling down, folks. Because listen, Jermell Charlo won a great fight. I just finished watching the fight earlier today because I needed to give my assessment, dog. Jermell Charlo chopped that body down, man. He systematically broke down Tony Harrison. That's boxing 101. Why is he not getting credit? All this stuff about Tony Harrison outboxed him, please. Tony Harrison was hitting Jermell Charlo with some good shots. He gets credit for that. But Jermell Charlo was on that free smoke, dog. He was on that hungry Lions only, dog. Let me say it again. He was on that hungry Lions only, man. I told y'all, dog. And the prediction king strikes again. And the prediction king strikes again. I had the fight pretty much predicted at 9th round KO or TKO stoppage. It ended in 11th. I said that Jermell Charlo was going to systematically chop away at him and break him down and get him out there late. This is the stuff that I'm talking about. The classic Dote and the troglodytisms. The Rudy Poo and the Plum Plum brainisms. The ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric isms. Give the man credit. Give Jermell Charlo credit. Give Derrick James credit. You heard Derrick James in between the huddles telling him, stick to the body, stick to the game plan. Errol the True Spence, stick to the body, stick to the game plan. Because they understand. What do I tell people? When you keep working the body, off with the head, dog. Let me say it again. When you keep working the body, off with the head. Jermell Charlo was in that second half of the Lions only mantra, man. The Charlo brothers got redeemed. Lions only. It got redeemed. Y'all got to give these boys credit, man. You got to give credit where credit is due. If you don't do that, you're not a boxing fan. Let me say it again. You got to give credit where credit is due. If you don't do that, you're not a boxing fan. What you are is a reverse bias, a.k.a. detractors, a.k.a. pandering, narrative, coalition, or panderers. Because those who understand what we call the true boxing eye test, right? Those who are deep thinkers out here, the real G's, the super real G's, and the ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets will give credit where credit is due. To sit here and say that Jermell Charlo's mediocre, a guy who went back and won the WBC Super Welterweight Division Championship belt, it speaks volumes about you. Not everyone could lose their belt. Come back with mental fortitude. Double down on that bad boy with confidence and fortitude and win. You can't just do that. It's something that you have to have what's called sheer will, sheer desire, and sheer determination. Jermell Charlo, just like Jermall Charlo, in December of 2019, they redeemed December 2018. That's the truth of the fact of the matter. And folks got to give hats off to them, man. You got to give props where props is due. If you're not doing that, then you are the problem with boxing, dog. Because if it's about, let's just keep it boxing, the archaic one-trick pony viewpoint, right? If it's about that, then why aren't you doing that and keeping that same energy? Let me say it again. Keeping that same energy with every fighter. Why is it you're picking and choosing? Because like I told you guys, pandering narratives have been put on a shaky ground. It's a ceiling cap. Once it hits it, blue, it got to come tumbling down. Now to run with the new narrative to say that Jermell Charlo, after regaining his WBC Super Welterweight Championship belt, he's mediocre. That's not reaching. That's what we call excessive pandering. Let me say it again. It's not reaching. It's called excessive pandering. Now you don't know what to talk about. You don't have no room. The walls is closing in on you, so you just got to talk about anything. That's what happens with pandering. It's founded upon shaky grounds. It's founded upon erroneous ways. It's founded upon lies. And when lies continue, guess what lies have to continue to do? They have to continue to beget more lies. This is why He Knows His Sport is always on the right side of history. Because you know why? I'm the ultimate cold-hearted, unadulterating, cutthroat truth teller. I reside in truth-telling fashion. I reside in truth-telling realms. When you speak the truth through consistency and authenticity, you're on the right side of history. But when you're speaking pandering narratives and you're pandering to super panderers, because there's two levels of panderers. There's what we call the high level panderers. These are the dupers. They're the ones that have the platform that are pandering. And then there's what we call super or extreme panderers. These are the people that allow this form of dupery to brain full of mush and brainwash their heads, thereby turning them into what we call doe heads. Let me say it again. Doe heads. That's the truth of the fact of the matter. To not sit here and give Jermell Charlo credit, Jermall Charlo credit, Errol the True Spence. Here's the pandering narrative. Oh, he's done with boxing. He's not going to come back till 2021. But yet Errol the True Spence shows back up and he tells you he'll be ready by mid-2020. And Errol the True Spence tell you, I don't want no tune-up. I don't want no light work. That right there is a true champion, dog. Because he wants that free smoke. He wants that fade. And all of a sudden, the man comes back. And now the welterweight division goes from the most boring to the most exciting division in boxing. Because the big fish is back to take all the little guppies. Let me say it again. The big fish is back to take all the little guppies. So give credit where credit is due. Otherwise, you're going to continue to be what we call a classic dope and a troglodyte. This is why these types of folks don't ever get respect in the boxing streets. Because there's real streets out here in these boxing streets. Because if you can't give credit to a fighter that you don't support, that's messed up. I just gave Teofimo credit. Teofimo Lopez, I ain't rocking with him. But I gave him credit because I understood in the second round when he had that meeting of the minds, his gambling paid off more than Richard Comey. Because if I didn't give him respect, then there wouldn't be authenticity, consistency, and realness to this platform. You got to give credit where credit is due. When you see a fighter that, even if you don't support the fighter, has done good and won the fight, don't run with, oh, he got outboxed, when clearly he was chopping away and breaking the body down. Don't run with, oh, they're mediocre. Tony Harrison quit. Jermell Charlo gets credit for that. Those shots that Tony Harrison lands on people, Tony Harrison is a guy that has been knocking people out more than 15 times. And the shots that he was throwing at Jermell Charlo, this speaks to the volume of Jermell Charlo's chin. And you got to give him credit. He has a chin. And Jermell Charlo is like a sniper, man. He's like a viper. He's always willing to give you that snappy, venomous bite. So you got to give him credit. This is what I'm talking about. Let's just keep it boxing. Let's just keep it boxing. But you don't want to give the Charlos credit. Now, that's what we call haterisms. That's what we call trollisms. Because those out here in these boxing streets, regardless if you like the person or not, respect the fighter. See, this is the problem with people. As He Knows the Sport, knock fighters down to their truest and their most properest levels. But I don't have a problem with fighters because I understand it's a small fraternity. These fighters are special. And what they do, only they can do it. So I'm still going to give them respect. I just know, like Meek Mill's terminology, there's levels to this stuff. There's gears. Everybody's not on the same level and everybody's not on the same gear. But that don't mean that I lack the respect for fighters. People out here are wishing fighters like Errol the True Spence would have died in a car crash. Something's wrong up here. Errol the True Spence got in a car crash because he was ducking Terrence Bud Crawford. Something's wrong up here. Oh, the Charlos are tune-up. When you have Eddie Reynoso and Canelo Alvarez telling you that Jermall Charlo is a great fighter and he will be a great fight for boxing. Doesn't that sound like a super fight to you? You see the dupery? You see the double standards? This is the stuff we're talking about when we say the double standards associated with boxing. The Charlos did their thing. Give them respect. Give them credit. And in not doing that, you need to look at yourself in the mirror as the boxing fan that is the part of the problem with why the sport is in a decline. This is He Knows the Sport. Check it out.